Philosophy students are also the highest drug takers of any degree. I think maybe because of the existential angst. I think that's why so many artists take drugs as well. And I consider myself an artiste, but so sometimes I think maybe I need to have some kind of tragic vice, like something that will fuel my creativity, but will ultimately destroy me as I become increasingly dependent upon it. Like Dylan Thomas was an alcoholic, the guy who wrote Confessions of an Opium Eater. Ate a lot of opium. And J.K. Rowling has Twitter. But I don't really have a good vice. Like, I had a problem with imaginary heroin for a while, because I was in a public toilet a couple of years ago and I noticed some syringes on the floor. And I convinced myself that as I'd walked past them, some of the heroin might have gone into my leg, like, got into my bloodstream. And I became so convinced of this that I experienced what I can only describe as a placebo high. It may have been a panic attack looking back, but it was the most intense thing I'd ever experienced, and I've been trying to recapture the feeling ever since. But there's not really a support group for that. Like, there's no Neurotics Anonymous for the kinds of people that sell themselves bags of flour or smoke joints of dried herbs to try and trick their subconscious mind into a fictional high. Like, my flatmates had to have an intervention to talk about how my addiction is affecting them because the spice rack is communal. And it's inconsiderate to smoke all of the oregano if I'm not going to replace it. The other reason I haven't really got into drugs is because I'm worried I'd get in too deep too fast, which I blame on the way the government categorises them as Class A, Class B and Class C. Because I think it's to stop people, to deter people from doing the more serious ones, but as someone who was an overachiever in school, I'm not going to settle for a C in narcotics. The one thing that would put me off doing Class A drugs, other than my crippling fear of authority, is if there was also a Class A star drug that I could aspire to. I have the same problem with bra sizes. Like, the first time I went up a bra size was the first time I got a B in anything. Although actually, I did get a B in my GCSE food tech exam, but that was because my answers to the theory paper were too philosophical. In answer to the question, how can the average British family reduce food waste, I suggested overthrowing the capitalist oppressors and returning to an anarcho-primitivist, hunter-gatherer model of society. And I can't cook, so...